Okay, so just to finish up quickly, so as I was saying, when you go to add in piping, this is the default that comes in. Pipes default is what comes in, and when you go to routing preferences, you can see that there's not much. There's not much that's going to be there that's going to be set up. For all the junctions and the crosses, and these are basically all the connections that are used for piping. But as you can see, when you do the pull-down menu, these are the ones that I've set up. So PVC sanitary. So PVC piping is used for the sanitary lines and for the vent lines in plumbing. The water lines are obviously the hot and cold water, and then the standard one is what I used for refrigerant lines. So if you click on one and you go to edit type, you can see I have all the connection types set up, so they come in automatically, and they work properly. And that's the same for all of them. So if you go to standard, the standards one's set up, and then the water one is set up as well. And then so again, PVC is for sanitary piping and vent piping. Water is obviously for hot and cold water, and then standard is what should be used for any refrigerant lines for your mechanical equipment. So then you can see, like if I put in, I'm just going to show quickly what it does for piping. So when I put in the piping, I'm just going to put in 2 lines. And again, in the actual piping video, I'll get into this, how you actually do this. But I'm just gonna, so you see here I have 2 pipes and I want them to connect, so I put them in as PVC. And again, the big thing that you want to do is when you put in a pipe, and I will mention this again in the video for the piping, is when you put in a pipe, you see how there's a system type, and this goes for mechanical as well. You always want to make sure that you put a system. So for PVC, you're either going to have sanitary or vent, and this is important too because this is how it's going to work for filters. So you want to make sure that it's in the right system so that it'll work. So the filter will recognize it and filter when we change the colors and stuff. So you always want to make sure those are set up for the pipes. And then obviously you can see there's a whole bunch more. There's domestic cold water that you would use for cold water when you're putting in cold water. There's hot water there as well. And then fire protection, if you ever did fire protection. But I'm just gonna, so quickly, so you see, how there's 2 pipes there. I'm gonna trim it. And oh, this is another one. Coarse and medium, you're gonna have just lines. You have to switch over to fine to see it in 3D. So you see it adds the fit in automatically, and it's there, and it works properly. Fine. And then, so you can see when you click on the fit in, if I add this, it changes the fit in to be a 3-way, connector. So that way I can click on this. I can right click on this point and hit draw pipe, and then I can continue over. Now I have a 3-prong connection. Then again, I can click on this fit in, and I can hit here, and then now it changes it into a T connection. And it's already, since it's already set up and through the properties, it's there. And then I can hit draw pipe, and then now I have the connection that way. Another thing that you can do is, like, say you have 4 pipes like this, you can hit routing solutions. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. When you start to select multiple, it starts to get tricky with you. But if you have like 2 like this and you highlight both of them and then do routing solution, it'll fix it and finish it for you. And it gives you different solutions as well, and that you can browse through and see which one you kind of like, and then you hit finish and it finishes it for you. And so that's just a quick intro to the piping, but I'll get into it more in the piping video. And this is the same. This works the same for the ductwork as well. So the ductwork is set up the same way. So ductwork is drawn the exact same way. piping's a little bit more intuitive because there's different things that you have to do. But it's the same concept where if I switch over to ductwork, so you, and again I'll show this in the how to do ductwork video. But again, you have different types of ductwork. You have rectangular, oval, round. I'm going to do a rectangle now. And then you can, here you can change its width and height, and it comes in standard. Then you can do the same, I forgot to mention, you can do the same for piping, where this is the pipe size, but these are the typical pipes. So you see these are the typical sizes for pipes for PVC. But if I switch this over to water, which again, this would be like, if it's water, I would switch it to, domestic cold or hot. And then with these, you get smaller sizes that you can switch to. And then you can always add in, add in your own. And it'll make it your own. And you can see here how it was two different sizes. You see how it adds the reducer in automatically. So again, that's something that's set up. And that's why you want the standards, because this will come in, it sets that up so Revit knows to do it automatically. So it'll reduce your pipe for you and add in the proper fit in for that. So ducts work the same way. So I'm just going to put in a duct, and again, this is where you can change its size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in another duct here, and then just quickly you can either trim it, and you see how it puts in a fit in for you. The fit in that's already there, and then again you can hit this plus sign. It'll extend the fit in out, and then you can come here, right click, and draw another duct to continue on. And then, like if I change this one, if I changed it to a round duct, it knows to automatically add the transition into it. So that's why you want to bring in the project standards, because it has all that set up for you. But I will get into the ducting and everything more in the piping, and more in those videos. Then I believe that's it. Let me just want to go through the list again, make sure I covered everything that I had to transfer over. Covered that. Okay, so I think that was the last thing I need to show you guys from the project standards. I said that you can bring over line styles and weights and patterns. And this is, if you go to the Manage tab and Additional Settings, this is where all that is. And again, this is something that you can create yourself. But like I had certain lines and stuff that I brought in, that I've already created that would come in if you transferred those over. So you could always do that if you wanted to. But the last thing that I do want to show you in this video, since I have a little bit of time left, is I'm going to exit out of this project. And so this is the project that I did when I took this course. And so this is I don't have my latest one because my file got corrupted. So this was my working one. But this is what I'm going to use to show you guys how to do the piping. Just because it's easier to have like something with pictures and stuff and to show it. But what I wanted to show here is, as I mentioned before when I was talking about the cheat list, how you can do a space schedule. And this is what the space schedule looks like, could end up look like, and all the stuff that you can put into it and how you can organize it. And so you can see how Revit, you can start to set the area per person, and Revit will start to calculate the number of people for you in the space. And then you can, how much calculated supply airflow and CFMs you need, how much outside air that you need, the condition type you can put in, and you can say what kind of zone it's in. Then if you scroll to the bottom, you can actually start to total up, number of people. It'll sum it up for you. Square footage, total square footage of the building, it'll sum it up for you. So those are some interesting things that you can do. So again, if you go back to the video that I did for the heat and cooling calculation, which was through, if I go back to the Analyze tab in 3D, so it's not grayed out. So the heating and cooling load, I showed this video and I showed how to set up spaces and how those work. So obviously you need you need spaces in your building to set up the space schedule. But I have one created, but I'll create a second one quickly to show you how it's done. So what you do is you would hit on schedule and quantities, and then you go to spaces. So you find spaces, you hit OK, and then you just, from this categories, you select stuff that you want to show. So maybe you want the name, and again, so this goes from right to left, so this would be at the very right, and then bottom would be at the very left. So maybe it's name, maybe I want area per person, and then I had number of people, and I'll just do that for now, and then obviously you can add as many as you want, and then you hit OK. So now this quickly generates the list. And then again, as I showed you for the sheet list, you can go to sorting and grouping, and then you can sort by name, and then ascending would be alphabetically. So you can sort it that way. If you go back to my list that I have, I have the space number I put first, and then there's different ways that you can sort it. If I click on my sorting and grouping, you can see I'm sorting it by level. So I have the level, so it sorts it by level first, then it sorts it by zone. So like if I go to the zone category, it groups it by zone. So it does it that way. And then I could have added it to be alphabetically and stuff too. But there's a whole bunch of different things. And then if you have it like this and you want to add more, you can just hit edit fields, and then you can just add, so I could come back and I can add, level. And then and you can always move once you're in. You can click on something and you can move it around. So if I want level to come all the way up there, I can move it in levels. And then again, if you go back to, obviously if you click on this, you can see all of these are in tabs, so you don't have to exit out and click one. But if you go over to formatting and you click on like area and you go to field format, this is where you can start to play around with the decimal places so it rounds off how you want it to. And then you can hit calculate total, and that will add. You should add it to the bottom. It didn't. Let's see. Okay, so basically after you do the formatting, so like say you go to area or number of people, and you say calculate totals, to actually get it to show, you go back to sorting and grouping, and then you check grand totals and do totals only, and then that will put at the bottom, it'll show you the total number of it adds up the total for it there. And then obviously you can go back in. If you go back into the formatting, like number of people, I can do. I can mess with the field format. So it's not. You see how it's a decimal point? I can do it so it rounds up. But the one thing that you want to be careful for is you don't want to round up these numbers, because obviously you see how it's like a decimal point. It'll give you 2 people instead of really like between these 2 rooms. Adding these 2's up, you're at 0.8. But if these were rounded up to 1 here, that would give you 2 instead of really only 1. So that's something that you want to be careful for. But that's quickly how to do a space schedule. And if you wanted to do a room schedule, it would be the same way. But you can try it out using this video if you guys want to be daring. But again, we can always look at it in studio, and I can help you out with it if need be. To get an actual space schedule. But the nice thing about this is it calculates everything for you, and you don't have to go through the calculations yourself to find number of people for fixtures, for toilet fixtures and stuff like that. It'll already be there for you, and you'll know, and you can just add stuff up. So that's it for this tutorial.